Hey guys, welcome back to Scott Buys Houses. I'm Scott Mitchell, owner of Otter Buy Homes here in Middle Tennessee. And today I want to talk to you about direct to seller marketing for real estate investors. I had several people ask me for more details about this off my last video, so I wanted to go into some more depth on this particular way of sourcing deals for real estate investors in this video. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the three primary direct to seller marketing channels that we engage in on a regular basis. Now, we've used other direct to seller marketing means other than these three in the past, but these three are the ones that deliver the best results for us the most consistently. So they're the ones I want to focus on today. Now, I'm going to start with the simplest, most cost-effective means of direct-to-seller marketing that would probably be the easiest for a new real estate investor trying to source their first deal. And that would be Facebook and Instagram ads. Now, I'm sure many of you are familiar with Meta's ad platform. Some of you may have engaged with it in the past, but if not, it's very simple to learn. There are tons of YouTube videos on how to get started. So I'm not going to go into a bunch of details on that because that's really how we learned how to do Facebook ads, was just by watching YouTube videos and tutorials on how to get started. And then we've kind of fine-tuned and tweaked the process. But the reason why I wanted to mention this first is because it's relatively cost effective. You can set a daily budget for yourself that meets your marketing budget. So for us, we spend an average of $1,500 a month on Facebook ads. So that comes out to about $50 a day. And we'll tweak that. Sometimes we raise it up or drop it down a little bit, depending on what other marketing we have going on in a particular month. But you can set it as low as, $10 a day if you want, so really with as little as like $500 or $1,000, you can get started on running Facebook ads. Now, what I will tell you about running Facebook and Instagram ads is that you will get leads. Okay, that's the great thing. Okay, and they're going to be relatively cheap leads. So our cost per lead, at last check, I want to say it was like $127 per lead. Okay, which is a pretty good price per lead. However, the downside is that they're lower converting than other leads. We find that they tend to be a lot of tire kickers or a lot of retail sellers who are looking for a fast cash offer, and they're really just trying to avoid listing their property. And most of them are looking for something approximating 90% of retail value for their home. So those leads don't meet our buy box. They're not what we would call target sellers, or a lot of times they're not what we would call target properties. With that being said, because lead generation is so cheap, you can generate a lot of leads. And hopefully, at last check, I want to say we were converting about 1 out of every 30 leads that we got from Facebook and Instagram. And I'll share with you in a moment how that compares to other lead sources. Now, the second easiest means of getting direct to seller is by running Google ads. Okay. Now, Google ads, again, something that you can research on your own, how to get those started, how to start generating leads through Google ads. So I'm not going to go into a ton of detail about how to start running Google ads, but a couple of critical things here is you have to have a website, you have to have a landing page for them to go to. So it's good if you have an established online presence already, which you may or may not have if you're a new investor. But like Facebook ads, is they're relatively inexpensive, and you can set and tweak your budget from day to day, really, month to month, week to week, if you want. I believe right now our advertising budget for Google paid ads is about $1,000 a month, so that's about $33 per day. We find that we don't generate quite as many leads from Google as we do from Facebook and Instagram, but the quality is about the same. And the cost per lead is, I think it's a little bit higher, but the quality is roughly the same. So again, you're going to generate leads that way, but they're going to be slightly lower converting again because a lot of these sellers are really retail sellers who are looking for something approximating full retail value for their property, but are just trying to avoid listing it with a real estate agent and paying those commissions. Now, the third and by far the most effective means of direct to seller marketing that we have found in our 10 years of doing this, and we've tried all sorts of different marketing channels, a plethora of different direct to seller marketing avenues, and by far the most consistent is direct mail marketing. Now, you might be surprised by that because there are a lot of people out there that say, direct mail is dead. You know, it just doesn't work anymore. It's antiquated. It's gone the way of the dodo bird. I can tell you, at least in our market and the markets that we serve, that is not true at all. Now, I will say that it is the most costly means of direct to seller marketing. We spend an average of between $5,000 and $8,000 a month on direct mail alone. Okay. Now, depending on your direct mail fulfillment center that you use, it can cost you somewhere around 60 to 70 cents, sometimes as low as 55 cents per direct mail piece that you send. Okay. And you have to send a lot of direct mail in order for this to be effective. Okay. On average, we get one lead for every, I want to say, 667 pieces of mail that we send out. Okay. And let's just say that we're paying 55 cents per mail piece. What does that come out to? Probably around $350 to $400 per lead. Okay. So it is going to be the most expensive. Okay. However, these are going to be the best converting leads that you can find, or at least that we have found. Again, in our 10 years of doing this, these are going to convert at by far the highest rate. On average, and this is pretty consistent, we are able to convert one out of every 10 leads that we get from direct mail into a contract. Okay. So our cost per contract comes out to, I want to say, around $3,500. Okay. Which is actually lower than our cost per contract via Facebook and Google advertising. Even though that cost per lead is much lower, it takes a lot more leads to result in a contract. So, what I would tell you about direct mail marketing is you need to start off with a substantial budget. Okay. If you are able to invest at least $5,000 to $10,000 in your first direct mail campaign. Okay. And I say at least that much because direct mail takes time. Okay. You're not just going to send one direct mail campaign and get a ton of leads and wind up with two or three deals out of it. Okay. It doesn't work that way. It's one of those things where your homeowners have to get your postcard or your letter in the mail 2, 3, 4 times before they pick up the phone and call you. Okay. Now, that's not always true. Some people will call you on the first postcard, but really your best results are going to come through your third, fourth, fifth, and subsequent direct mail campaign. So this has to be something that you go into with a long-term vision, and you have to have a fair amount of money set aside. So what I would recommend for anyone that's new, that's just starting off and has a very modest marketing budget, perhaps start off with Facebook and Google ads, again, because they're cheap and you can do them in small amounts and, kind of scale a little bit over time. Get your first deal or two under your belt. And let's say that you do your first deal and you make, I don't know, let's say you make $30,000 off your first flip. Okay. Then maybe you can take 10,000 of that and invest it in your next marketing campaign into a direct mail campaign. Okay. And then again, as you start to build your real estate investment business, you can grow your marketing arm. So, what I'm thinking about doing is in a subsequent video, I can take you through our marketing metrics because we track everything that we do. We track, um, you know, cost per lead, cost per contract, how much we're monetizing those contracts for, so that we can determine the ROI for each of these marketing sources. So as you grow your real estate investment business, these are things that you'll start to do. But if you're just getting started, like I said, start off with a Facebook or Google ads, hopefully land your first deal that way, and then get into the direct mail marketing because that's where you're really going to be able to scale your business. So hopefully this video has been helpful for you. If so, please make sure that you give us a thumbs up and follow our channel. And if you have any questions or any suggestions for future video content, please make sure you drop us a note in the comments below, and we'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much. See you again soon.